And guys, hopefully this doesn't happen during my portion, but I live next to the Air Force Base here in Utah, so if you hear jets,
Okay.
it's not you, it's me.
Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Lisa Bleich, and I'm a volunteer for NJACAC. Welcome to the Best of the West. Just a couple of housekeeping things. You can go ahead and sign up for more sessions. This is one of the many college presentations offered. You can do it at www.njacac.org/virtual-fair. If you want to ask a question, there's a Q&A session or Q&A button at the bottom of your screen. You can ask questions, and the panelists will answer those either privately through typing it, or they may say it, may speak it out. All of your cameras and microphones will be turned off. The recordings will be available at all the sessions are being recorded, and you can view those later at njacac.org virtual fair. All right, and now I'd like to present the panelists.
Thanks, Lisa. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Thanks everyone for being here this afternoon. Right now you should be seeing the start of our Explore the Pac-12 slide. This session, though we're not all here, we are strengths in numbers. There are 12 Pac-12 institutes, hence the name of Pac-12, but today you will be hearing from Arizona, Arizona State, Utah, and Washington State University. So this presentation that we'll kick off is really to just kind of introduce the Pac-12 and really the similarities that we have. The Pac-12 is full of large institutes, and I like to start with size because when you're starting to figure out college fit and what's going to suit your interests and your style, some people are looking at rather large universities, others are looking for a mid-sized institute, and some are looking for something that's very small, tiny in comparison. The Pac-12 is filled with large public universities and a few large private institutes. The average enrollment at a Pac-12 school is just over 30,000. Granted, you're going to find some that are almost double in size and some that are even half the size, but averages aside, we're all large universities. For many students, this is an exciting opportunity to engage in various ways. You'll find lots of research opportunities, student clubs, involvement. The opportunity to meet someone new every single day happens at these large campuses. Many of us like to say that it's easy to make a large university feel very small, to find those niches within a large community, but it can be a little more difficult to make a tiny university feel big. So we get excited about the fact that we are large publics and large privates. Though we are large institutes, most of our classes are fewer than 20 students. So oftentimes when you're watching a movie, you'll see the huge lecture hall of 1,000 students in a classroom. Of course, that exists on our campuses at some capacity, the lecture hall where there's a few hundred people, but more often than not, you'll be in a classroom setting of 20 students or fewer. Faculty to student ratios are quite small too, which means that even when your professor is not available during their office hours, someone within the department can certainly help you. Reach out, utilize the faculty, the staff, those that are available to you on our campuses. We are all Tier 1 R1 institutes. What's that mean? We all have research for students to get involved in at the undergraduate level, at the graduate level. Every professor, when they're hired into our institutes, they're not only agreeing to be your teacher, work in the classroom, teach you your new material, but they're also working on their own research. For many students, this is a way to build their resumes, be involved in their career field, try that career on for size before they actually move into their field. Research is synonymous with internship opportunities. A lot of times your work that you're conducting on campus looks really similar to some of the private sector work that you might be working in a private institute. We have overall more than $3.3 billion in research dollars. That's plenty of funding for students to start researching within the STEM fields, humanities, arts, communication. Every single major and minor on our campuses has some research exposure available to students. We are, of course, Division I, Pac-12 athletics. This brings certainly a lot of school spirit to our student fan bases. Pac-12 sports, whether it's football, basketball, and let's see, just last week we announced that we are returning to football season, which is quite exciting for our students, even though they likely won't be in the stands. It's something that regardless wherever you go on the East Coast, the West Coast, or abroad, you're going to have this recognition of whether it's a big O for the University of Oregon, Oregon, got what, the U for Utah, but there's this recognition and camaraderie between Pac-12 sports, their fans, and the athletes themselves. Overall, we are the most winningest conference with more than 500 NCAA championships at our home. And academics-wise, the whole reason why you're pursuing a Pac-12 institute is, of course, to earn your degree at the end of the day. Hundreds of academic programs for you to choose from. Many of them are non-impacted. We have an expectancy that you're graduating in 4 years. At most of our universities, this is quite possible. And with these large institutes, Division I, research-driven campuses, the affordability and cost is huge. The amount that you're investing, and a lot of times there is out-of-state scholarship associated with our institutes, but you're going to find that what you're getting is, I would say, quite affordable by comparison. Oh, I almost missed one. And location. Being on the East Coast, try something new. Maybe think about heading west, not necessarily to the entire West Coast, as we have a couple of in-state areas, or Colorado, Arizona, and Utah. But just consider the West Coast as a bit of a change of pace. Different sunset, different sunrise. You've got the beaches, we always like to say, are a little nicer on the West Coast, but that's just a personal preference. Use college as an opportunity for you to try something new, and not just in the sense of moving out of town or out of state, but really explore the US, a space that maybe you haven't been. This is a temporary home for you. Hopefully you get a lot of fun and use this as an opportunity more than anything. Okay, with that, I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to hand it over to Sarah Fixtall with Arizona State University to get us started on some of our individual campuses.
All right, thank you so much for that introduction. Like Sarah mentioned, my name is also Sarah. I am the Mid-Atlantic Recruitment Coordinator for Arizona State University. So I help students in kind of that Mid-Atlantic corridor. I am based in Southeastern Virginia. So I'm so excited you all are joining us today. So I always like to start off every ASU presentation with our charter, and this is really what we strive to do in kind of every facet of the university. So a big theme of our charter is that we are not measuring ourselves by whom we exclude, but by whom we include and how they succeed. So this really carries out through our admission requirements, our academic programs, our campus structure and model. So we are really striving to help all of the students that come to ASU be really successful in their undergraduate career. So here are some accolades that we're pretty proud of, just to kind of give you a general idea of what we're all about. We have been ranked #1 in innovation for the 6th year in a row now, so we're super proud of that. And we really do strive to be innovative, especially in this year of trying to navigate higher education in the year of 2020. We've really had to put on our innovation thinking caps in order to still deliver a really high quality education for our students, whether they are on campus with us or in more of a virtual format. We are also #4 public university in the US for first year experience as well as undergraduate education. So what this will tell you is that you will be getting a really stellar freshman experience if you come to ASU, as well as a really quality research-driven undergraduate education. So in case you are unfamiliar with the Phoenix area and our campus structure, I'm going to take a little bit of time kind of diving into what that looks like. So we are based in the Metro Phoenix area. And as you can see from my map here, we actually have 4 different campuses in the Metro Phoenix area. So as a student, you'll have kind of a home-based campus where you'll be living your freshman year. Your major will be housed at that campus, but you'll still have access to all 4 of our locations. So we kind of think of ourselves as one university system, 4 different locations. Our campuses are really intentionally placed where they are located, as well as determining what degree programs are held there. So I'll give some key programs that are held at each campus in the next slide, but just know Phoenix is the 5th largest city in the country, so it's a super exciting area to be spending 4 years of your undergraduate career. So these are our 4 campuses. We have the downtown Phoenix campus, which is our 2nd largest campus. It is right smack downtown Phoenix. So when you think of the downtown campus, think fast-paced, think professional. This is where our law school is held, and as well as our journalism school, health sciences, nursing, community and public health, So all those really profession-driven majors will be housed at our downtown Phoenix campus. Next, we have our Polytechnic campus. And when I think of Polytechnic, I think technical and innovative. So a lot of engineering programs will be at Polytechnic. Our flight and aviation programs are at the Polytechnic campus as well. And this is our second smallest campus with just over 5,000 students. Third, we have our Tempe campus, which is by far our largest campus. It has over 50,000 students, and a majority of our degree programs are held at the Tempe campus. So business, education, engineering, performing arts, biology, you name it, those will all be at the Tempe campus. This is also where all of our athletic teams are held, our theater performances. So it's definitely our largest campus in terms of population, but as well as degree programs, student clubs and activities and things like that. Keep in mind, if you're an athlete, you can still be at one of the other campus locations and still be a part of our athletic teams at Tempe. Fourth, we have the West campus. This is the smallest. When I think of West, I think liberal arts. It's a really small, intimate, green campus. It's where a lot of our liberal arts majors are held, interdisciplinary programs, as well as forensic science. So that's kind of a quick overview of our 4 campus locations. So we have a lot going on at ASU. We are a large school, so a really important part of that is finding your community. So we have a lot of different things in place to help you find those connections, build that community within the university, whether that's through one of our over 1,000 clubs and organizations, our student coalitions, fraternity and sorority life, athletics, or one of our 14 residential colleges, which is the residence areas that you will be living as a first-year student. So don't get overwhelmed by the sheer size. There is a lot of things in place to really help you find your place at ASU. So how do you become a Sun Devil? I'll talk about admission requirements really quick. So we have something called assured admission. So we are comparing you against our admission criteria, not you against another student. So if you are meeting our admission criteria, you are guaranteed admission. So there's 2 things that we look at. One are our course competency requirements, and the other would be an aptitude requirement. Course competency requirements are 16 courses we look that you've taken in high school. A lot of times this will reflect your graduation requirements. So we look for 16 core competency requirements and then either a GPA, test score, or class ranking. So if you have one of those aptitudes, all 16 courses, you are guaranteed admission to ASU. If you're falling below those, we don't turn you away. You'll just go into more of an in-depth individual review process. So that was a super quick overview of ASU. We actually have a lot of really great virtual visit opportunities. If you want to engage a little bit more with the university, we have longer kind of general information sessions. We have sessions based on just certain academic colleges, student panels, sessions with our honors college. There's a lot of ways to continue to explore ASU. And this is my contact information. As I said, if you are here, I am your ASU representative. So please reach out to me with any questions, and go Devils.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sarah. And I'm going to share my screen with you all. All right, so my name is Joe Elliott. I am the Associate Director of National Recruitment. I am also a regional-based employee out in the Mid-Atlantic region. I live in New Jersey. That's where I call home. I primarily work with our students that are based out of New Jersey, Pennsylvania, all the way down through Virginia and Maryland. Today, I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about the University of Arizona and what makes us a unique place to attend your school. So by the numbers, looking at Arizona, we are the only land-grant university in the state. We have a little bit under 45,000 students, about 36,000 undergraduates, which makes us a relatively large size school. Our faculty to student ratio is about 15:1, and then 70% of all the classes at the University of Arizona have less than 30 kids. When you're looking at Arizona, when you're looking at a map, you kind of look at where we are. And we're all the way down at the bottom of the state of Arizona. So we're about 2 hours south of Phoenix, an hour north of the US-Mexican border. About 60% of all the students at Arizona, they come from Arizona. The rest come from everywhere else. So we're represented by all 50 states and about 140 countries. And when you're thinking about where students come from, these are our top 10 states. So you will see we definitely get a lot of kids from the West Coast, but we do get our fair share from the East Coast. So New Jersey and New York are in our top 10. But when you look at everywhere else in terms of the East Coast, it really starts in Virginia and then kind of moves its way up into Boston. So we definitely do have a pretty diverse population in terms of students that are coming. So that West Coast, Midwest, and then East Coast group of students. Tucson is definitely a phenomenal place, and it's not like you're going to find a Tucson anywhere on the East Coast. You're going to replace all of those tall mountains you would find in New York City with scenic mountain landscapes. A lot of people tend to gravitate towards Tucson just because of the athletic and outdoor activities that we have to offer. So Tucson has about 67 miles worth of bike lanes. There is Mount Lemmon, which is the tallest point in southern Arizona. This is about an hour outside of Tucson, and if you look really closely and squint your eyes, you can actually see Tucson off in the distance. So tend to think about the idea of getting out and getting involved within the Tucson area. And what's even nice is the downtown area is only about 2 miles away from our campus. When you're thinking about our campus, we're about 1 square mile. So we are one singular campus. It takes about 20 minutes to get anywhere. And as you can see from this picture, looking out into South Tucson, it's extremely flat, so it's easy to get around. It's also really nice. So our average temperature during the school year is about 85 degrees. We average about 320 days of sunshine. So a tall difference between the weather that you would find in the Northeast and the weather you would find on campus. So our folks on campus tend to be outside a lot. You can see looking out into this vista, you won't see any cars. So the most popular way to get around is typically walking. The other big one is biking. But when you're thinking about getting in and around, if you wanted to go downtown, there's a streetcar that connects from our university teaching hospital to the downtown area. So there's definitely an easy way to kind of see Tucson and experience the campus. And really everything that you need is located on that one singular campus. In terms of programs, we offer about 250 degrees and we have 20 separate colleges on our campus. So this link here, so arizona.edu/degree search, is an opportunity for you to explore all of the programs that Arizona has to offer through all of our 20 colleges. So let's say you're interested in biology. You can go to our degree search, type in biology. You'd be able to learn more about our College of Science. You'd be able to learn more about biology. You can look at every single class you're going to take within your major. You're going to look at all the research opportunities, internship opportunities, and what a lot of our students are doing when they leave Arizona within a biology major. This is a great way to kind of explore all of the opportunities that Arizona has to offer, and then kind of start to develop what's going to be the major that's going to best suit your needs. Our alumni are constantly telling us that the experience they've received at the University of Arizona really made them real world ready. A lot of that is really driven by the opportunities both in the classroom, but also outside of the classroom. A lot of times students say, am I going to be able to get an internship on the East Coast? Well, Eller College of Management, which is our business college, there's more Eller alumni living in New York City than any other city in the United States. That's just like local kids, but that's kids from all over the world, graduate from the University of Arizona, and then move to New York City for business purposes. In Washington, D.C., we have a Center for Collaborative Learning. So a lot of folks that are interested in legislative affairs can find a place within Washington, D.C., their own classroom, right in downtown. Going beyond and above that, when you're thinking about what our students are doing every day, it's in research. So as a member of the Association of American Universities, which is a club of about 63 universities throughout North of America, we average about $687 million worth of research, which is more than any other school in the state of Arizona. Research is definitely something that brings our students to the forefront, not only in the classroom, but out of the classroom and then moving forward. Our Honors College helps a lot of those students find some unique research opportunities. So of the 36,000 undergraduate students, we have less than 5,000 students within our Honors College. This is a much more intimate setting. So our faculty to student ratio for the university is 15:1, and the Honors College is about 12:1. There's honors faculty that are housed within this building. This is also where about 1,100 honors students actually live. So it's a living learning center that really kind of takes a large campus feeling and puts a small liberal arts college experience in there. We also believe in the student support. So our Office of Student Engagement and Career Development works with our students through all levels. So freshman, sophomore, junior, all the way through graduate student. One of the big things that we focus on is the student experience. Through all of the programs Arizona has to offer, whether it's our SALT Center, whether it's student engagement, whether it's our CAPS, It's about 85% of our first year students return for a second year. We offer a tremendous amount of support in terms of our SOS program and then all the free and fee-based tutoring that's offered to all of our students, which is part of your tuition and fees every year. We have 23 dorms on campus, and about 70% of our freshmen do live on campus. While we don't require students to live on campus, we strongly encourage students to live on campus at least in their first year. That's really going to help you find that social circle so that you can make friends right in the first year. We have over 600 clubs. As we mentioned before, we are a Division I school in the Pac-12. Sports is a really big part of the student experience at the University of Arizona. Looking at our application, we have 3 separate applications for students to choose from. Our application on our website, coalition application, and the common application. Students just need to self-report and include all of your senior coursework. We do not need your SAT or ACT scores. A personal statement is optional. No letters of recommendation. You pay your application fee, request a fee waiver. As a rolling admission school, our decisions typically come in about 2 to 4 weeks. And as Sarah mentioned already, we look at the same thing as the other state school in the state of Arizona. We look at 16 core courses to determine eligibility and admissions requirements at Arizona. Looking at these 16 courses, if you have a 3.0 or better, you're going to be assured admissions, much like you would at ASU. When students fall below that 3.0, we put you into a comprehensive review, which just means we take a little bit more time to look at your transcript to see academic progress over the course of the 4 years at Arizona. Both assured admissions and a comprehensive review is about 2 to 4 weeks for a review. Our honors college is a separate application. It's a little bit more in depth, and there's a whole separate application that's involved with that. We have that early deadline of about November 16th, and students will start to get those decisions on December 11th. The final deadline is February 15th, and all students will be notified by March 10th. We offer a one single tuition, it's $36,600. It's going to be guaranteed for all 4 years at Arizona. We also offer a generous tuition award, which is going to be based off of your 6th semester core unweighted GPA. This merit is good per year for up to 4 years. We also offer plenty of opportunities for you to engage outside of StriveScan and outside of anything else. YouTube, virtual tours, all of our colleges offer info sessions, and then we do an Ask a Wildcat on our Instagram every Tuesday. This is my contact information, and if you do have any questions, please feel free to reach out at any time. Thanks so much.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, Joe. My name is Ryan Copeland, and I'm from the University of Utah Office of Admissions. I'm a senior admissions counselor there. I think, let's see. Okay, just wanted to make sure y'all could hear me. Yeah, so I will go ahead and share my screen. And this is University of Utah. We are located in the heart of Salt Lake City, 5 to 10 minutes away from downtown Salt Lake. So we're pretty close to all the action is if you wanted to be close to the outdoors that Utah has to offer, in addition to being close to, you know, a kind of an urban area. University of Utah, we have 2 campus locations. Primary one is in Salt Lake City, Utah. The other one is in Incheon, South Korea. So you can have an international experience if you choose to do so and still graduate from the University of Utah. We have about 32,000 students that attend on campus. 24,000 of those are undergraduate students. Despite that large number, we still maintain a 17-to-1 student to teacher ratio, with our average class size being about 23 students per class. So we're pretty happy about that. We are the state's top research institution. We're research institutions just like the rest of our Pac-12 sister schools. And we've also recently been named as one of 65 universities in the country to the Association of American Universities. So we're pretty happy about that as well. As far as our location is concerned, we are within a day's drive of all of Utah's national parks and monuments. We're 30 to 45 minutes away from 7 world-class ski resorts, and we're 5 to 10 minutes away from downtown Salt Lake City. So yes, while our our biggest, I guess, professional sports team is the Utah Jazz, maybe you're not a Jazz fan, it's all right, no one's perfect, but maybe you want to watch one of your teams from back east come to Utah and play. That's a big possibility. We also have a very robust public transportation system in Salt Lake City, light rail trains running from campus down to Salt Lake itself. among different bus systems as well. So it's really easy to get around. Just to kind of give you an idea of where we are by air, we are about 5 hours away from New York, and of course close to our Pac-12 sister schools in Washington, Portland, California, Arizona, all that good stuff. So as you can see there, we're pretty close to a lot of the action and a lot of cool different things that Utah has to offer as well. We have 18 different colleges on our campus with over 150 different programs. These range anywhere from our School of Business to our College of Humanities, all the way down to our School of Engineering that has 13 different engineering majors. We also have a video game design program that's ranked top 10 in the country, one of the top 25 entrepreneurship programs in our School of Business, as well as the programs and majors in order to help you be prepared to apply to our medical school, physical therapy school, dental school, law school. Those are all programs and things that we have on our campus itself. We also have attractive on-campus options for our students. We do not require incoming freshmen to live on campus their first year, but we do recommend it. We've recently opened a brand new residence hall, Collard Village, which is this picture right in the middle at the top there. It has 4 different living learning communities that include things like STEM living learning community, pre-health science living learning community, as well as honors colleges and so forth. But if you live on campus, you also get the benefit of having a meal plan, which is all you care to eat. You don't have to clean up after yourself. It's a pretty good option. Callart Village is actually located right next to our Student Life Center, where every student is given access at no additional charge to our huge weightlifting area, huge cardio area, as well as our indoor 4-story rock climbing wall. Okay, indoor volleyball courts, 3 full-size basketball courts, indoor track, as well as an Olympic-length swimming pool. So you can stay in shape and avoid that freshman 10 or 15, however you call it. We're also, as one of the Pac-12 institutions, we also have a lot of clubs and organizations, over 600 different clubs and organizations, anywhere from our Utah Free Skier Society, and the name says it all. This is for students who buy to get free or complimentary ski tickets up to one of our ski resorts, to multicultural clubs, to religious-based clubs, to even clubs that are as silly as the Mountain Dew Doritos Cupcake Club. This is for students that like to get together and eat junk food, okay? And you can create a club yourself as well. As part of the Pac-12, we do have a great student section, the Mighty Utah Student Section. We're 6,000 students strong. During our third down jump, our Richter scales on campus actually register seismic waves. They are a rowdy bunch, but it is a cool opportunity, you know, given how small of a stadium we have relative to our other Pac-12 sister schools. But yeah, we make a lot of noise. We do a pretty good job with that. As far as our different admissions requirements are concerned, we do engage in a holistic review process. And what that means is, yes, we do take into consideration your grades and your test scores, if you choose to include your test scores, but we're also looking at a plethora of other things. Things like, you know, the type of courses you've taken during high school, AP credits, IB credits, dual enrollment credits, whatever those things may be, as well as grade trends. We also like to see secondary factors like leadership experiences, service opportunities, extracurricular activities, even extraordinary circumstances that may have prevented you from doing better in school. For example, COVID-19 can be an extraordinary circumstance that you can include in your application. Our dates and deadlines, let me back up. We are on the Common Application, which you can access by going to commonapp.org or our website, admissions.utah.edu. We have 2 priority deadlines. These are early action deadlines, not early decision, okay? So whether you apply by December 1st or February 1st, you'll be automatically considered for scholarships just by getting your applications into us. So in addition to the application, we will also need your official high school transcript sent to us directly from your high school. So that's a key thing there. As far as our ACT, SAT requirements, we've dropped that for the fall 2021 admissions, and we've recently dropped test score requirements for scholarship consideration as well, just to kind of help out with that. Make sure you file the FAFSA by February 1st. Make sure you look at our scholarship website to see additional scholarship opportunities. And a real quick note about the state of Utah's residency. We are the second easiest state to become a resident in. I think the first easiest is like North Dakota or Montana, places where students aren't beating down the door to go. So as long as you're in the state for 12 continuous months, you're financially independent. And all that means is your parents don't claim you on their income taxes. You establish those domiciliary ties, such as getting that Utah driver's license. You can save about $20,000 compared being a non-resident to a resident in the state of Utah, just to kind of give you an idea there. With that, we are offering virtual campus tours right now. We'll start offering in-person tours starting this next month. It'll look a little different than it usually does, but if you go to admissions.utah.edu virtual-events, you can find out what those are. If you have additional questions after today, oh my goodness, my contact information, where'd it go? I'm so sorry, there it is. So if you have additional questions today, feel free to reach out to me directly. Again, my name's Ryan Copeland, and I'd be happy to answer any of your questions. With that, I'm gonna pass it on to Sarah at Washington State.
Thanks, Ryan. All right, everyone. My name is Sarah Buswell. I work with Washington State University. I'm the Associate Director of Admissions. Essentially for you, I'm that person that reads some of your applications and makes those decisions. I'm regionally based in Long Beach, California, where I work with most out-of-state students that are interested in applying to WSU. This is really one of my favorite pictures to start a presentation with, primarily because it does a great job of showcasing both campus and the surrounding area. WSU is certainly in a rural location. One of the things that both terrifies students and excites them is this idea of going off away to college in a rurally isolated space. It's a pretty big campus, takes about 15 minutes to get from one side to the other, but most of your time and energy is spent there on campus. When you're looking off into the background, it's very apparent that there aren't any highways, there aren't any freeways, no skyscrapers. We're not in that city metropolitan area. We're actually located in Eastern Washington. That is a top question that I get is, well, how close are you to Seattle? Which Seattle being one of the few cities that especially many East Coasters are aware of. It takes about 4.5 hours to drive from Seattle to Pullman. We do have an airport in Pullman. For a student coming from the East Coast, they're usually flying into SeaTac and then taking a short 45-minute flight from Seattle to the Pullman-Moscow Regional Airport. The second largest city in the state of Washington is Spokane. It's about 75 miles north of us. There's also an airport in Spokane. But the eastern side of the state looks really different from the western side of the state. It's where you're going to find a lot of extreme four-season weather. For example, I know the stereotype of Washington is it rains all the time, it's dark, it's dreary, the Space Needle, Grey's Anatomy, whatever comes to mind. But for the most part, it's kind of hot summers, frigid winters, and mild fall and mild spring. Because of our location, students tend to be fairly outdoorsy. So they're taking advantage of skiing and snowboarding in the wintertime. We have 6 resorts within a 2.5-hour radius of us. We have the Snake River, about a 25-minute drive from campus. You hopefully will have a friend that knows a friend that's parents have a boat or something. You can go wakeboarding, water skiing, wake surfing, or just stand-up paddleboarding and floating on the river. Our outdoor rec center offers free gear rentals to students who are interested. They also rent out lengthy gear rentals. So if you're wanting to go for a week-long mountain biking trip or lead an excursion with friends backpacking through the Palouse, the Outdoor Recreation Center can certainly help you. You'll notice the numbers here as far as total population. 35,000 people live in Pullman, Washington. 20,000, just over 20,000 of that are college students. The majority of people who live in Pullman, Washington are WSU students. They have some kind of affiliation. If they're not a student, they're usually a professor, a faculty, a staff member, a small business owner. People live in Pullman because of the university. Even when you are in downtown Pullman, Main Street area, all of those telephone poles have WSU flags flying from them. The WSU logo is painted inside of the intersection of all of the downtown intersections. There's really not a clear divider between where campus ends and the city of Pullman begins. Someone did the math at one point, average age of a Pullman resident, 22 years old. This picture, it's so bittersweet this year, but it is exciting that yes, Pac-12 sports are coming back, but it's certainly definitely not going to look anything like this year. But WSU Pac-12 sports, they certainly bring a lot of excitement to that campus. Our little town of 30,000, 35,000 doubles, sometimes in few cases triples in size during Cougar football Saturdays. The Pac-12 or the RVs and the motor homes, the parking lots are just packed to the brim with season ticket holders, alumni coming from all over the Pacific Northwest to be a part of these events. Homecoming is especially a unique tradition and a time on campus. If you're not necessarily thinking Pac-12 sports or fan going is where you want to spend your free time, please engage in some of our other clubs and activities. About 25% of our students are part of Greek life. It's a fairly high number for a West Coast school. 1 in 4 students are part of a fraternity or a sorority. You would usually join that Greek life chapter the week before classes start during the fall semester. This year it was actually fully online, virtual recruitment, where folks were able to choose that chapter they wanted to join without ever setting foot in a fraternity or sorority chapter house. So is the times. I also like to note that the 87,000 hours of community service here, there's this inherent understanding that students have where they really rely on the community for things like those late night pizza shops or a place to study. So maybe it's a smaller boutique coffee shop. Their part-time jobs, they're usually coming from these small businesses, and students tend to give back in appreciation. The little kids soccer coaches, those U5 soccer coaches are typically college students. The people that are walking the dogs and petting cats and cleaning up after animals at the Humane Society are college students. The people working on trail restorations at the local parks or building houses for Habitat for Humanity, they're WSU students. So don't be surprised if you are giving back in part of your free time on campus. Academics-wise, all of our programs are non-impacted. Some of our most well-known programs include agricultural sciences, animal sciences. We have a fantastic vet school on our campus. We have the Grizzly Bear Research Facility, which offers both our pre-med and our vet med students a chance for some clinical trials and clinical work. Also really well known for our nursing programs and education, but across the board, being a Tier 1 institute, you're going to find some renownedness. As far as applying, rolling admission basis, it's fairly simple. We have one application, it's on our website. You fill it out and we get back to you hopefully within 4 to 6 weeks. We're really putting a lot of effort into your transcript. A lot of our decision is based off of overall GPA, strength of schedule, grade trends, what classes you're taking your senior year, etc. We are test blind this year, before I forget, so please do not send your SAT or ACT scores to us. We're not considering them. Running out of time here, so I'll skip through these areas here. Honors College, yes, consider it, please join it. Small discussion-based classes. I'll touch on this cost here, the total cost of attendance for a WUI recipient or Distinguished Cougar Award. Automatic scholarship given to students starting at a 3.2 and up to a 4.0. Students with a 3.6 or higher receive that $11,000 scholarship automatically. And my contact information to wrap it up here, please feel free to email me or call me, or if you'd like to text, that's also a cell phone number there too. Whew, we made it. Thank you all again for sticking through this. We've got a couple of minutes here left to go over some Q&A. I don't see that there have been any posed questions in the Q&A portion, but one that might be a good one to post to the group here is talking about retention rates. How happy are our students? Are they returning? Are they coming back after their first year at each of our campuses? Great question for out-of-state students. About 82% of our first-year students are returning to sophomore year from out-of-state to Washington State. Ryan, you want to go next? Just kind of reverse presentation order?
Yeah, why not? And our number is actually pretty similar to Washington State. It's about 81% of students return after their first year.
And at the University of Arizona, it's about 85% of our first-year students return for a second year.
That's me. And then at Arizona State University, about 85–86% as well.
And Sarah, maybe you could talk a little bit about students that are coming in undeclared or undecided. What does the process look like at ASU?
Good question. So we have a few different majors that are called exploratory. So for example, exploratory sciences, exploratory humanities, exploratory more arts. So for those students who maybe have a few different interests in different subject areas, our exploratory majors are a really great option. It gives you your first 2 years to take an even broader curriculum to find out what you like doing, maybe what you hate doing. Then by the time you get about midway through about your junior year, you should have a clearer picture, so then you can jump into more of that narrow academic coursework.
Ryan or Joe, would you like to add anything else about how your universities work with students who are still deciding?
Sure. So we have our academic college on campus that helps students specifically that are undecided. We have academic, oh my goodness, advisors. We have advisors that help with students that are specifically undecided with their majors. We also have an exploratory college course for those that are undecided too.
And at Arizona, much like the other schools, we also have a program for students that are undecided. I like to think that undecided is sometimes one of our more popular majors at Arizona because we just offer so many, and I think that's going to be across the board with all of our PAC-12 sister schools. There are so many opportunities. We offer, academic advisors that just focus primarily on a student experience in that first semester to kind of help them look through all of the opportunities that are afforded at each of these schools.
Yeah, and I think I would mirror what everyone has said so far with the addition that we expect our students who are even coming in undecided to still graduate on time. And that's not quite a PAC-12 standard, but certainly for the four of us, an expectation that you can still graduate in 4 years, even if you haven't decided on a major. Maybe we move into a little bit of research on campus and how a student might go about finding a research opportunity on their campus. Joe, you want to start? Where should a student start?
Yeah, that's a great question. Sometimes the fastest and easiest way is just setting up office hours with your professors. Professors tend to have a lot of access to their specific research that they're doing. And that research could really start in your first semester of your first year. And it's just having that conversation to learn a little bit more about some of the programs that they're involved in. We also have an advisor that is set up just for students that are looking to get involved in research. And it's not just STEM research, it's really just about anything that you can imagine. We have students that are doing research with our College of Education, our College of Fine Arts. As a border state, there's a lot of immigration research that's going on. And I just think that's what really helps round out the overall experience.
Ryan, anything to add at all?
There it is. Okay, couldn't find my mute button. Yeah, so nothing to add. It's pretty similar as far as all that's concerned. So yeah, I'll just leave it at that.
Got it. And does anyone have any advice for a student who's deciding if they should take the SAT this year or ACT? Should they push it? Should they risk it?
Can I start off with
bet.
that? Yeah, so we've heard of instances of students traveling from Utah to go to Colorado to try and fit in the ACT or SAT. Please don't do that. We don't want you to have to break your necks in order to take the test. COVID has affected a lot of people and a lot of things like testing sites, which is why we've decided, and some of my colleagues here have already had their ACT, SAT requirements dropped a long time ago. University of Utah, this is the first time we've done this, so we don't require those for admissions or scholarship consideration at the University of Utah any longer.
And I see Lisa's jumped back on. Would you like to take it over?
Thank you guys so much. This was wonderful, wonderful information. I just want to thank everyone for joining us. And I'd like to just, if there's a quick survey that you'll get after you close the window, it's 4-question survey, so it'd be great if you could answer it. There's more sessions, so you can go ahead and sign up for that at www.NJACAC.org/virtual-fair, and the session will be recorded if you have any friends that you think would benefit from listening to it. So thank you again.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.